Hello friends, Ace Botane, next episode. In this episode, we'll be discussing chapter 5, Morphology of Flowering Plants, fourth part, that is from flower to fruits. So we can directly enter. So for convenience, I will share the screen so we can. I think screen came, so we can proceed to Morphology of Flowering Plants, fourth flower onwards. So what are the topics we'll be discussing? Introduction will be there as usual. Then flower, main item, parts of a flower, questions, 5 theory, 5 NEET model question with the key. So we can proceed. Introduction. See, flower is one of the most attractive part of a plant that we know. And main purpose of the flower is for reproduction, specifically sexual reproduction. That is why it becomes more attractive. Flower is a modified shoot. And anthology deals with the study of flowers. Opening of flower is called anthesis. A flower which is always open, it is called chasmogamous. A flower never opens, it is called cleistogamous. And remember, both case pollination can take place. I think up to that it is clear. Now we can enter into the detailed manner. A typical flower has got 4 types of whorls arranged successively on the swollen end of the stalk or pedicel called thalamus or receptacle. And the 4 whorls are calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. While calyx and corolla are non-essential, androecium and gynoecium innermost 2 whorls and essential for next generation. I think first page is clear to all of you, so we can proceed to second page. Here are some important terms concerned with the reproduction, and this will be also comes in sexual reproduction of flowering plants. There, these terms will not be normally discussed because it is based on this area. They are continuing the second chapter or first chapter, sexual reproduction of flowering plants. So we can proceed. So some technical terms in connection with the flower or special terms. One is polygamous. Polygamous means a plant with male, female, and bisexual flowers. Example is mango. Mango tree, national fruit of India, Mangifera indica. Now, perianth. Perianth means here there is no separation between calyx and corolla. That existing structure is called perianth. The individual member of perianth is called tepal, commonly seen in monocots. Now, bisexual flower. Flower with both androecium and gynoecium as in shoe flower. Unisexual flower, a flower with only one type of sex organ, maize. Flower with only one type of sex organ as in maize. Now, pentamerous flowers. When all the floral appendages are in 5 or multiples of 5. Tetramerous flower means when all floral appendages are in multiples of 4. And pentamerous and tetramerous commonly seen in dicots. Now comes trimerous, when all the whorls are in 3 or multiples of 3 as in monocots. Now bracteate flower with the bract, which is reduced leaf found at the base of the pedicel, bracteate, and bracts can be protective or even colored. Ebracteate flowers without bracts. Now complete and incomplete flower. So many terms will be there, so many. Morphology. A flower with all 4 whorls, complete flower. If any whorl is absent, incomplete flower. This way we can add a lot of terms, but better adjust with NCERT. Morphology is such a vast subject. We can proceed to next page. These diagrams you are familiar, that is purely NCERT diagram. Now each floral appendage we have to start. One is calyx. Calyx will be usually outermost whorl. It is formed by individual members called sepals. And usually sepals will be small and green. Main function is protection of young flower buds. When sepals are united, all sepals together, it is called gamosepalous. When sepals are free, it is polysepalous. In some cases, that way we can say, some cases, sepals are brightly colored. Then the term is petaloid. In such cases, true petals may be absent. Example is salvia or sage plant. For the photograph is given there. Then 2 more terms. Epicalyx. Epicalyx is the extra green sepal-like floral organ outside calyx seen in Malvaceae. Shoe flower, hibiscus, we can easily find. When you do practice, we can easily find epicalyx. Then calyx, corolla, that we proceed. Protection is the function. Now another is pappus. Calyx modified into pappus, hair-like structure in Asteraceae. Seed dispersal is the function. So calyx into pappus. I think that page is clear, idea clear. We can proceed to next one. So when we proceed to next page, next word we are starting, it is called corolla. Corolla is the most attractive and colored part of a plant. It is formed by petal like sepal. If corolla can be gamopetalous, corolla can be polypetalous. And below it, you can find a diagram. It is old NCERT diagram. Present NCERT, it is not given. Anyway, for reference only, I have shown it. Very clear diagram. See, there are different shapes for corolla, which include old NCERT diagram and the types they mention in the bottom. Since not in present NCERT, just shown there, we can proceed to next page. Next, we have to proceed with an important term, theory entrance. It is called estivation or estivation. In ecology side, there is an estivation. It is called summer sleep. That is ecological side. Here, another term, estivation, spelling all correct. Same, both case it is same. So what is estivation here? Estivation means mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in floral bud with respect to other members of the same world is known as estivation. So arrangement of sepals and petals in relation to one another is a basis. It is called estivation. And NCERT-wise, 4 basic types we have to proceed. So each set of diagram, name is given above, and example is given, and how it happens also given. So very easy. So one is valvate. Typical example is calotropis. From the diagram you can find just touches or indirectly no touching and no overlapping. Just touches, no fusion, nothing. Example is calotropis. Next is twisted. So you can find a kind of turning appearance. One part is completely outside, one part is completely inside. In a regular fashion, it proceeds as in China rose, overlaps in a regular fashion. China rose means hibiscus. Next is imbricate, cassia, gulmohar. Here overlapping is not in a regular pattern. See here, one is inside. One is roughly outside this one. Other 3 inside and outside, that way. So that is called cassia or gulmohar, imbricate type in a regular, that is, here you can find in cassia, overlapping is not in a regular pattern, not in a regular pattern. I think idea clear. Now, most important item for exam purpose, vexillary. Example is P and B. P and B, papillonaceae. Here you can find big one that is called standard, which overlaps 2 lateral petals. Then, which in turn overlap 2 smallest, see here, this one. So this is bigger one, lateral 2 and basal part 2. So when we come to this vexillary estivation, standard overlaps, this is standard or vexillum, which overlaps 2 smaller lateral wing or alae, which in turn overlaps the 2 smaller standard petal. It is called keel or carina. So standard vexillum, wing or alae, keel or carina. And this is posterior petal, this is anterior petal. So posterior is larger here and outermost. I think idea clear to all of you. Vexillary is important and it is zygomorphic also. So we can proceed to next. Besides this, there are 2 more, not in direct syllabus, but just a modification, better we can pass through it. So this is vexillary. That is why I given in a shady manner. Posterior side, anterior side. Now 2 more types, just to reference only. Ascendingly imbricate. This is descendingly imbricate. This is ascendingly imbricate. Example is cassia, bohenia, gulmohar. And quincuntial, where these 2 are out. This is inside. And these 2 are partially inside, partially outside. Different forms, that's all. Not in direct syllabus. So no need to get worried. Just if you can remember, that is good. That is guva and avrohia. Now we can proceed to androecium. Androecium is the first reproductive structure we have to start. Third word, male reproductive structure, essential organ. Androecium otherwise called stamen. If a stamen is sterile, it is called staminode. And stamen has got 3 parts, filament, anther, connective, components of stamen. Anther is at the terminal part of the filament. It is usually bilobed, each lobe with a 2 theca. So bilobed, dithecous. For each lobe, it is dithecous. Total 2 lobes. So total number of theca will be 4. So both the lobes, when we take, it will be 4 theca. Each lobe 2 theca. 2 theca means dithecous. 2 lobes means 2 into 2, 4 theca. That is always called tetrathecous or tetrasporangiate. Bilobed and tetrasporangiate. Now connective. 2 anther lobes are separated by a deep groove in front and are attached to each other by a band of vasculated. Next term is important. Sterile tissue called connective. Sterile. I think page is clear. Androecium, we have to discuss a little bit more items. Now, adhesion and cohesion. So these are the anther lobes. Okay, 2. So when we come to adhesion and cohesion, what is meant by the term adhesion in general? Adhesion means attachment between two different words in botanical side. Cohesion means attachment within same word. So 3, 4 words we have to proceed. One is epipetalous, epitepalous, otherwise epiphyllous, then gynandrous. Gynandrous will be discussing last. So when stamens attached with the petal, it is called epipetalous, as in the case of brinjal and datura, Solanacea. When stamens attach with the perianth or tepal, it is called epiphyllous or epitepalous, as in Liliaceae. Now, fixation of anther. This filament for the anther lobe, anthers, which area, which part it is attached. As such, not in present NCERT, but this diagram is previous NCERT. Very easy diagram, simple 4 terms, that's all. One is called basifix. So diagram it is called basal part, which is otherwise called innate. Example is mustard. Second is on dorsal side, so it is called dorsifix. Example is Suspania. Third is adnate. Adnate means the filament runs throughout the length of the anther, as in nymphea. And fourth is most exam point of view important one. It is called versatile. Versatile means anther lobes will be this way, filament will be this way or this way. Okay. So this is anther lobe. This one is filament. This way it is attached. And anther lobes can swing in this manner when wind blows. As a result, pollen grains can be easily distributed as in the case of grasses. So 4 types, I think clear: basifix, dorsifix, adnate, and versatile. I think idea clear. We can proceed to next term. So many terms will be there. Anther it is more. I'm trying to discuss all the terms as much as possible because if any question comes, you should be able to write. Even though present NCERT, no direct terms like this. Here terms are there, previous case. So adelphous condition. Adelphous meaning clustered, and usually it is used as a suffix. Now, before entering to adelphous term, a general term, polyandrous. Everything I given there, polyandrous means stamens are free. Now coming into monoadelphous, diadelphous, polyadelphous. Monoadelphous means stamens are united. Monoadelphous. Diadelphous means monoadelphous means stamens are united in a single bundle. Monoadelphous. Adelphous means clustered. So monoadelphous means stamens are united in a single bundle, as in the case of Malvaceae or China rose. Example is important for exam, popular question, direct NCERT. Diadelphous, stamens are united in 2 bundles. Diagram clear. P, Papilionaceae. Polyadelphous, stamens are united in more than 2 bundles, as in the case of citrus. Match the following, direct question, etc. But in Malvaceae, there is an important entrance question. When we discuss with Androsia, Malvaceae is commonly called cotton family because cotton belongs to Malvaceae, Gossypia. Cotton is the epidermal outgrowth of testa, that fibers, cellulose fibers. So in Malvaceae, cotton family, we can find monoadelphous, monothecous, reniform anther. Famous question. Monoadelphous, monothecous, reniform anther. Again, 2 more terms. One is called syngenetious, one is called synandrous. So SYN generally means united, combining, syngamy. Syngenetious, diagram given there, and there is united, filaments are free, as in the case of sunflower family, Ilianthus. Synandrous, anthers and filaments are fused together. See that fusion, you can find the diagram over their whole length, as in the case of Cucurbitaceae family, gourd family. As such, the last 2, not in direct syllabus, but we should know it because it can come as even as a question or even as an option. Now we can proceed to next area. Didynamous, tetradynamous, 2 types. Diagram given, so it will be easy. See, didynamous means out of 4 stamens in a flower, 2 are long and 2 are short. So unequal length for stamens, as in Labiatae family. Tetradynamous means total 6 stamens are there, out of which 4 stamens are longer and 2 are short, as in the case of Brassicaceae or mustard family. Then when we discuss anther, there is an exception, salvia plant, sage. Salvia also we studied previously. Here fertile anther and sterile anther lobe is seen. And salvia shows liver or turnpike mechanism. Only that much. Next is, one more is the gynandrous. Here stamens are united partially or fully with the gynoecium. That is called gynandrous. Example as in Gynanthropis. I think idea clear. Now we can proceed to female part. Gynoecium. So when we come to gynoecium, gynoecium is the 4th one, innermost word, again second essential word after androecium. It is female part. It is also called carpel or pistil, and there are 3 parts for it: stigma, style, and ovary. Now comes two famous terms, apocarpus and syncarpus. When carpels are free, it is apocarpus as in the case of lotus and rose. Example important. When carpels are united, it is called syncarpus as in the case of tomato and mustard. Again, carpels may be single, monocarpellary. It can be 2, bicarpellary. It can be 3, tricarpellary, or more than that, it is otherwise called polycarpellary. Now, 3 components: stigma, style, and ovary. You can find in the diagram stigma. Stigma is at the top of the style, usually receives pollen grains. That is the receptive part for the pollen grains. Style is the long tube structure, elongated tube-like structure through which pollen tube passes. It lies above the ovary. So this ovary is the style. I think idea clear. Now we can proceed to next page. Ovary is the bottom swollen part of the pistil or carpel, bottom part. It have ovules which can develop into seed. Now chambers. So when we come to chambers, ovary has chamber or chambers, one or more. It is always called locules. And based on number, if it is single, unilocular; if it is 2-chambered, bilocular; if it is 3, trilocular, and that way it proceeds. Ovule or ovules is or are developed in it. Pericarp, that is fruit wall, is the ovary wall. Ovary is the structure normally develops into fruit. And remember, ovary and fruit only seen in angiosperm. Now comes another important term for us. It is called placentation. So first we should know what is placenta. Botanical side we are discussing. Placenta is the flattened cushion-like structure present on the ovary. In plants, it is connected with the parenchyma tissue. Again, this diagram is previous NCERT diagram. Present NCERT, you cannot find it. So just to show variation, that's all. This is previous NCERT. I think we can proceed to next page. This is present NCERT diagram. So popular question morphology, several areas are there for question theory and maths. So 5 types we have to study. NCERT picture, new NCERT. So marginal, axial, parietal, free central, basal. So each diagram name is given, what type of placentation with examples. So it'll be easy for you. After that, I explained it, marginal. Here, the placenta forms a ridge along the ventral suture of the ovary, and the ovules are born on this ridge, forming 2 rows. Marginal. P. Axial. Here, the placenta is axial, that ovules are attached to it in a multilocular ovary. Say this, we can find many chambers. That is axial. Parietal. Here the ovules develop on the inner wall of the ovary on peripheral part. Ovary is 1 chamber. There comes an important question. But it becomes 2 chamber due to the formation of a false septum called replum. So replum can be seen in Brassicaceae. That is, for example, mustard. Mustard family. Replum, important. Then comes free central. Free central. Lies free that way. Here the ovules are born on central axis and septa absent. Free central. Example is dianthus and primrose. This is all NCERT example. That variation originally there, but NCERT we have to take. So it is dianthus and primrose. Now comes last one. Exam point of view, more important, basal placentation. Here the placenta develop at the base of the ovary and the single ovule is attached to it. Example is sunflower. Helianthus. I think idea clear. Now again, next area for us, it is floral symmetry. Actinomorphic, zygomorphic, asymmetric. Actinomorphic radial, zygomorphic bilateral, asymmetric regular. So actinomorphic is equivalent to radial. Here the flower can be cut into 2 equal halves or 2 equal radial halves in any radial plane passing through the center. Example is mustard, datura, and chili. Actinomorphic. Example important, odd one. Next is zygomorphic or bilateral. Here, the flower can be divided into 2 halves, only one particular vertical plane. Example is pea, gulmohar, bean, and cassia. So, Papillonis, it is zygomorphic. Vexillary estivation is there. So, I told you it is zygomorphic. Now comes asymmetric or irregular. Here, the flower cannot be divided into 2 similar halves along any vertical plane passing through center because some outgrowth will be there. Example is kanna, asymmetric or irregular. I think that 3 clear, important for exam with examples. Now, position of floral parts on thalamus, not over. Based on the position of calyx, corolla, androecium in respect of the ovary, on the thalamus, flowers are described as hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous, 3. Respectively, ovary. Hypogynous flower means ovary is superior. Perigynous flower means ovary is half inferior. Epigynous flower means ovary is, once again, hypogynous superior, perigynous half inferior, epigynous is inferior. So perigynous half inferior, epigynous inferior ovary. I think clear. Superior, half inferior, inferior, flower, hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous. And NCERT has got some diagrams, color diagrams are, it is important for exam, direct question. So we can find A is hypogynous flower, B and C, it is perigynous, and D is epigynous. That is flower, respectively ovary superior, half inferior, inferior. Now hypogynous or superior ovary, here the gynoecium occupies the highest position, while that is why it is called superior, while other parts are situated below it. Example, as in the case of mustard, Chidag rose, and brinjal. Perigynous, perigynous, half inferior ovary. Here the gynoecium is situated at the center, and the parts of the flower located on the rim of the thalamus, almost at same level. Example important for perigynous, rose plum peach, rose plum peach, rose plum peach. Half inferior perigynous. NCERT example important. Epigynous means inferior ovary. Here the diagram, you can find it very easily, you can identify. Here the margin of the thalamus grows upwards, enclosing the ovary completely, and getting fused with it, other parts of the flower arise above the ovary. Here you can find. This is the ovary part, rest all above it. So epigynous and inferior ovary. Example is ray florets of sunflower. After that, 5 theory question, 5 NEET model question as usual. I think idea clear. So what all things we discuss, we can just pass through it because it is too much. Topics are there. So initially we started with the flower. And what is flower? What are the features of flower? Function of flower. Then we entered into the topic after introduction. One by one we started. First, with some special terms. Many terms we studied. Then an NCERT diagram. And their well shown. Then we started with the calyx. What is the function of calyx, color, size? Then sometimes calyx will be brightly colored, etc. After that, epicalyx and pappus. Then we entered into brightly colored part, that is corolla, function. And corolla, I forget to say one thing. Here, a broad part is there that is called limb. And a small stalk-like area is there, it is called claw. So it is called clawed petal. Previously, I forget to say clawed petal. Then different shapes of corolla, previous NCERT. Then aestivation, what is aestivation? Arrangement of sepals and petals in relation to one another. What is importance of it? What are the different types of aestivation? Posterior side, anterior side, and vexillary. Examples. Then ascending imbricate and quincuncial. After that, we entered into androecium. Androecium, many items we discussed. Adhesion, cohesion, staminode. Then theca, sporangiate, epipetalous, epitepalous, and epiphyllous gynandrous. Then, after that, fixation of anther. 4 diagrams, NCERT old, that is basifix, dorsifix, alternate, and versatile. Then we entered into adelphous condition, that is clustered. Before it, polyandrous, then monodelphous, diadelphous, polyadelphous, features and example. Then syngenesious and synandrous. After that, didynamous and tetradynamous. Then salvia exception, then gynandrous. Then we entered into innermost world, that is gynoecium. Features and parts, apocarpus, syncarpus, stigma style ovary. Then all parts expanded. Then placentation, importance of placentation. What is placenta? Which tissue makes it? And 5 types of placentation with example. Then each case, what are the characters? Then we entered into flower symmetry, all important area. Actinomorphic, zygomorphic, and asymmetric, radial, bilateral, and irregular. Their features with example. Then position of floral parts on thalamus, that is hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous, superior ovary, half inferior ovary, inferior ovary. Then we entered into 5 theory question, 5 NEET model question with the key. If you like this episode, subscribe or like it, share it, comment on it. Meanwhile, question series will be going on. So next question series will be Principles of Genetics, first chapter, that is second half of it. Already in the channel, it is the raise button. So to get it, subscribe also, automatically you'll be getting the notification. So thank you. Take care. Bye. We can meet later.